Today's daf is daf Chaf Zayin, and the Gemara is going to deal with the issue of a woman who has a very bad reputation. The call went out that she was Mazana Tachas Baila, and she has a daughter. And the question is, if he wants to marry either the mother or the daughter, who do we prefer? Amar Shmuel. So on the bottom of Chavav Hamid Beis, Sheyisa Adam Duma, V'al Yisa Bas Duma. Shmuel advocates that in this choice, we should give preference to the mother, marrying the mother, rather than the daughter. Shezu ba mitipa kshera, v'zo ba mitipas psula. Meaning, even in an event that, heaven forbid, the mother had a relationship, an adulterous relationship, nevertheless, her yichus is not impacted, it's not contaminated. But on the other hand, the daughter might come from a tipa psula. Now, the phrase tipa psula refers to a goyish father, or perhaps the father is a mamzer. And the Rishonim here have a problem. If we're afraid that the mother had znus while she was married, then this child, she herself is a mamzeres. Why does the Gemara need to introduce the chashash that maybe her father is a mamzer or her father is a guy? In any event, bottom line is that according to Shmuel, marry the mother and not the daughter. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, he disagrees. Yisa Adam Bas Duma, Val Yisa Duma. You're better off marrying the Bas than marrying the mother. Shezo, the Bas, Omedes Becheskes Kashrus. We can assume what's called Rov Be'ilos Achra Baal, and therefore her father is her mother's husband. And she wasn't born from a Zera out of wedlock. And that's based on Rov Be'ilos Achra Baal. But Vizu, are you going to marry a woman, She'eno Medes Becheskes Kashrus, that she's suspect of adultery, and you're going to marry her, and that's the nature of this woman, she's an adulterous woman, you might live with a woman who's having adultery, and therefore she's Asura Alecha. Meisvei, the Gemara raises the following question against Rabbi Yochanan from a brisa that says, no say Adam Duma, that a man should marry the mother. And that's against Rabbi Yochanan, who says, don't marry this mother because she's chashuda biznus. Amar Rava v'tizbra. Are you sure that this brisa is accurate? It says no say. That can't be true, because the word no say implies l'chatchila, as if to say that there's no hesitation at all, no inhibition about marrying the mother. That's certainly not so. I mean, it's very possible that she'll be machshel him by having a znus tachta. Ella, but rather you already have to change the gears of the brisa to im nasa, meaning a b'diavad situation, and meaning that he's allowed to continue his marriage once he got into the marriage, is once you're already making that change in the brisa, then Tanei Nami, I'm going to make another change and fix this brisa and add the word bas, which means that im nasa bas duma muterisla. And then it's a support for Rabbi Yochanan. V'hilchasa we paskin like Rabbi Yochanan. Why? Because of a brisa Rab Tachlifa. Yisa Oda Bas Duma Ve'al Yisa Duma. He should marry the daughter rather than the mother. Again, as we said before, according to the Rabbi Yochanan, if he marries the mother, maybe she'll be Mizana Tachtov. The Tani, Rav Tachlifa Bar Marova, Kamed Rabbi Avu. This is a brisa that we have here. Isha Mizana Boner Ksherim Sherov Be'ilos Achra Baal. That even if a married woman is suspect of znus, Now, again, there are those who say that we know bevadai that she had znus tachas baila, but we're going to interpret it according to the other shita that it means that there's a kol, there's a rumor going around that she was mezana tachas baila, and the Brisa advocates baneh. In other words, marry the daughter, and the daughter is assumed to be kshera, even if the mother was mezana, because rov bilo sachar baal. Boy Rav Amram, hoisa prutza biyoser mahu. What about a woman who is just a prutza? She's a married woman, but she lives with any consenting man, and we can no longer assume that rov bilo sachar baal, she lives such an absolute loose life. And therefore, if there's no rov bilo sachar baal, then the child could very well be the child of a goy or of a mamzer. So the Gemara says that this depends upon another machlokas. Aliva demandi omar, ein isha misaberes el samuch levista. A woman has a cycle, and right before the Veset, she then is most fruitful, and there's the greatest possibility that she'll become pregnant. And this is all based on a Gemara Masechet Nida on Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. The Gemara presents a machlokas amoraim. When is a woman most likely, most suitable, her body is most suitable to become pregnant? According to Rav Ami, whose opinion we've already read, that it's the time of Samuch Levesta. That means Yom Lifnei Yom Re'iyasa. She expects to see on Wednesday, which is, let's say, the 30th day of her month since the last period, and right before Wednesday, on Tuesday, she's most likely to become pregnant. However, there is another alternative interpretation of the Shita of Ami of Samuch Levesta, which is the Drisha, and he says it means a few days before Haveset. In any event, that's the Shita of Rav Ami in Masechet Nida. Rabbi Yochanan disagrees, and he says Samuch L'Tfilasa. So that means that after she saw and she counts Zayin Nikiyim, so that's probably about middle of Havest, let's say day 15 or so, it's hard to say exactly, but it's Samach L'Tfilasa. That means right before she goes into the mikveh, or a day after she goes to the mikveh, right at the time of the mikveh. That's when she's most likely to become pregnant. However, Tosfos points out that everybody agrees that it's possible that she might become pregnant any day, and the machlokas is only about rov. When is it most likely that she will become pregnant? So now we're going to take the first opinion that says Samach Levesta, let's say the day before she's expected to see. Lo yada ba v'lo manterle. Now, the Baal doesn't necessarily, in the Gemara's premise here, know exactly when is Havest. Tosfos adds another element because we're talking about a woman, she'en la veset kavua. So it's not like on 3 occasions, month after month after month, 3 continuous months, she saw on the 15th of the month. So the Baal, in any event, is not aware of Yom Vesta. And therefore, since he doesn't know when is Yom Vesta, he's not like looking out for his wife at that particular time. What that means is that, again, it's hard to understand the psychology here that the Gemara is operating with, but the assumption is that the last thing in the world that a husband would want is that his wife would become pregnant from another man. But kiti boilach, The suffix is alida demand yomar ena isha mesaberes ella samach l'tfilasa. Now, if the most the most likely time that she'll become pregnant is around her tefillah, then the husband knows exactly when that is. He might not know when the veses is, especially it's a ves sheina kavua, but he knows when she's expected to go to mikvah. And therefore, at that time, he's eager to have a relationship with his wife, and hopefully she'll become pregnant. And he's also going to keep an eye on his wife around that period of time to make sure that chas v'sholom, no one else will have a relationship with her and she'll become pregnant from another man. What's the din in such a case? And again, we're talking about a woman who's known to be a prutza. She does have relations with other men. So do we say keva di yadaba? But in this case, since the Baal knows, he recognizes the Yom Tefillah, netore mantela, he will certainly look out for her to make sure and guarantee that she doesn't have an illicit relationship and become pregnant from another man. And therefore, we can assume that even in such a prutza, the daughter is assumed to be kshera. And we could still apply be'ilos achar Baal. Oh, Dilma came the prutza biyoser, or should we say, since she lives such a loose life of immorality, is low. Even if he's trying to keep an eye after her at that point in the month, but nevertheless, she'll find a way of sneaking out, and having this relationship. And therefore, maybe the daughter is a mamzeres. Teku. The Gemara leaves that as an unanswered question. Now we go back to our Mishnah. The Mishnah says that in certain cases where the Baal is incapable of kinui, Bezdin will stand up to the plate and they will create a kinui as if they were shluchim sent by him. For example, if the husband goes haywire, in other words, he becomes a Sotah or a cheresh, or let's say he's locked up in a jail, no way that he can make a kinui. Tana Rabbana, we learned in the Brisa, it says in Parshas Sotah, Ish ki tiste ishto, and it could have said ish once, matam loma ish. Why the double language ish? Lerabos eshes cheresh, v'eshes shota, v'eshes shamum. Shamum is a mental malfunction. And Shaholach Bailam Dina Siyamo Hoya Chavish Beis Asurim, in all these cases where the husband is incapable of kinui, Shebezdin Mekanin Lahem. Lahem means on behalf of the Baal. They become a self-appointed shliach, and Bezdin creates an effective kinui that would generate an Isra al Baleim in event that she is soseres. And she will forfeit a ksuba if she violates the kinui of Bezdin. And this is all based on the extra word ish, which is marbe, another possible vehicle or source for kinui. Yochel, you might say, aflash kosan, maybe the kinui of the Bezdin is valid all the way, not only to generate an Israel Baila in event that she is soseres, but even after hastira, she will have to drink for Memorarim Tamalon. But there's a reason why we exclude that, because the Torah in the Parish of Sotah says Vehevi ha'ishes ishto. The husband has to bring his wife to be mashka her by the Kohen in the Beis Hamikdash. No one else can do that. Even Bezdin can't do that. And here, the Achronim asked the following question, and basically it's hinted at in Rashi, that even though the kinui here is offered by Bezdin as a substitute for the Baal, but nevertheless, it's not enough of a shlichus to say that it was Vehevi ha'ish es ishto. And the question is, in kinui, it also says v'kina es ishto, and the pasuk seems to again indicate that he has to, the husband has to do the kinui, but nevertheless we have the riboy of ish to tell me that even Bezdin can do the kinui. But as far as hashka is concerned, lahashkos, there's no ribui. Rabbi Yossi Omer, aflash kosa. Once the Torah has granted the possibility and recognized the shlichus of Bezdin to do the kinui, then that's going to be a kinui that has all the power of a kinui, and it culminates with hashka. Comes Rabbi Yossi and he says the following, that although you're right, the pasuk says v'hevi ha'ish es ishto, but that doesn't mean that the kinui of Bezdin, as far as hashka is concerned, is totally invalid and meaningless. No, the kinui of Bezdin is going to set up hashka. The only thing is that we have a technical barrier. The hashka cannot be implemented because the Baal is not available to bring her up to the Kohen. But later on, he gets freed from the Beis Hasurim, or for example, he undergoes a surgery and now he's capable of hearing and speaking or whatever it might be. He has psychological therapy and now he's well. In such a case, he is now going to take his wife to be mashka based on the kinui of Bezdin. Now, what confuses my mind here, although I didn't find anyone addressing my question, is when was the stira? If after he got out of the Beis Hasurim, she was so seres, then I don't know why I need Rabbi Yossi. The Gemara already quoted on Daf Chaf Hey in yesterday's Daf Rav Papa in the cases of Arus and Shomeres Yavam, that if he gave her a kinui and then he took her into the chuppah, or he was miyabim her, and then she did the stira, then she drinks from mei mararin. So if we're talking about a case where the Baal got out of the Beis Hasurim, and then she was so seres, then I don't see where there would be a havamina that he can't be mashka. That's why I'm suspecting that here the Gemara is talking about a case where not only was the kinui while he was in Beis Hasur, but even the stira was while he was in Beis Hasur. The Chachamim never accepted Rabbi Yossi that the kinui could be meaningful and effective for hashka when the Baal gets out of the Beis Hasur and he takes her to the Kohen. Rabbanan Savri be'inin v'kinu v'hevi. There's a smichus in the Parshios. The Torah says v'hevi ha'ish es ishto, and immediately before that, the pasuk says v'kina es ishto. So you have kinui and then hava. And the Rabbanan understood that only if the kinui could lead to hava, meaning the person who's doing the kinui, he's the person who will bring her, then the kinui could culminate in hashka. But if Bezdin is doing the kinui, and Bezdin can't take her up to the Kohen, so there's no Vehevi and Vekina, or say it the other way around, Vekina and Vehevi, therefore there's no Ashka, even though the Baal got out of the Beis Hasur. For Rabbi Yossi, he doesn't have that drasha that you need a kinui that's going to culminate with a Vehevi. Tanarabanan. At the end of Parshas Sotah, it says, Zos Toras Haknos Asher Tiste Isha Tachas Isha. And this pasuk is redundant. Now we're going to darshan lahakish ish leisha veisha leish. It's going to be a two-way street. We'll have Rav Sheshis explaining what we derive from the ish for the isha, and Rav Ashi is going to derive what the opposite, what derived for the isha from the ish. Lamai hilchos, Omer Rav Sheshis, keshem shem hu suma lo hayamashka. If he's blind, he cannot be mashka. D'chsiv v'nelam me'enei isha. Kach, so to him, he isa suma lo isa shosa. And Rav Ashi Omar, the other way around, let's also derive the dinim of the isha from the ish. Let's derive the dinim of the ish from the isha. Keshem shechigeres v'gidemes lo isa shosa. The Torah says, "D'chsiv vehemed hakohen es ha'isha lifnei Hashem," etc. So vehemed means that she is standing. But if she's a chigeres and she's not capable of standing, so there's no hashkah.